Your live interactive Weather Authority coverage will begin shortly. Your live interactive Weather Authority coverage will begin shortly. Your live Weather Authority coverage starts right now.
Well, good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are all having a good evening. Unfortunately, not the best of days out there. Of course, today with lots of clouds, some drizzle, some fog, some showers, some even thunderstorms earlier in the afternoon if you were in parts of central Maine, north of Augusta generally. But overall, it's not the best of days. A very, very dreary day out there today. But we are also tracking some thunderstorms off to our west. Let me pull this up and you can see that we do have, yes, some thunderstorms in areas of Vermont moving into New Hampshire right now. Many areas in New York had seen a lot of these thunderstorms during the afternoon hours, and now they are starting to move on off towards the east. And yes, there's still some severe thunderstorm warnings. There are some severe thunderstorm warnings in areas of central Vermont and New Hampshire, as well as southern Vermont, parts of Massachusetts as well. Now, this line is associated with a front that is eventually going to move on through, and we are going to see a lot of this start to weaken, however, as we head through the next couple hours. So that's some good news. At least that's we are expecting this to happen. Areas and parts of especially northern Oxford County may see a quick rumble of thunder or two, especially over the next hour or two. But I do think a lot of this will start to weaken as we head through the next several hours, as really for two reasons. One, you have the sun going down, so you're losing the heating of the day. But number two, we are just not warm here. We are talking cloudy skies and 50 degrees in many areas with some drizzle, and that is not a good fuel for thunderstorms. That actually helps really just have the thunderstorms die right out into showers for the most part. And we are expecting some showers. Again, some rumbles of thunder certainly possible, but severe weather, I think, should be limited as we head through the nighttime tonight. Rosalva, hello. I hope you are having a great evening. If you guys have any questions, certainly let me know. But let's talk a little bit more about these storms. Let's first look at the lightning tracker, and you can see there's still quite a bit of lightning associated with this line over towards parts of, again, Vermont and New Hampshire. We are going to see lightning, again, hopefully start to dissipate as we head through the next couple hours, as we do anticipate these storms to start to weaken. But there's also, again, some flash flood warnings over towards parts of central Vermont, and you can see that in the areas in the green shading right there. And we are going to see, again, some of this move in as we head through the next couple hours and into the nighttime tonight, but it is expected that it will start to weaken. Now, let's also take a look at some of the storm reports off towards parts of areas of New York, Vermont, and yeah, I guess you could even say New Hampshire as well, as it looks like we are dealing with many reports of hail, also some strong winds, areas of flooding in spots as well. We did have the let me take a look at some of these reports, and you guys can see areas up towards especially northern Vermont looking at hail upwards of a half an inch to an inch. I saw some of these reports having hail as much as an inch and a half in some spots. So certainly some pretty big hail in some areas. And then there's also, we have many flood warnings or flood areas and thunderstorm damage reported as well. Most of these are coming in northern Vermont. So areas over towards the Burlington area, we did have plenty of reports of flood damage and also wind damage, I should say, and some flood in some spots as well, especially poor drainage, urban flooding type situations with just some very, very heavy downpours with many of these thunderstorms, of course. And we did have the Storm Prediction Center during the daytime today did have areas off to our west showing the main area of main focus is New York and Vermont. And that was the case. I do anticipate, and as the Storm Prediction Center anticipates as well, as these storms move into areas of Vermont, a lot of this is just going to continue to weaken, and that should be the case. We'll take a look at the satellite radar one more time before we head on to the next graphic. But this line is going to continue to move on off towards the east, and again, we are going to see the best chance for any thunderstorm activity, some lightning, some I don't know if we see any hail or damaging wind gusts with this. Again, as we do anticipate it to weaken, we'll be in the western part of the state, especially close to the border with New Hampshire. That's where we will see at least the best chance for some rumbles of thunder, some lightning as well. And that will really be over the next several hours before the midnight hour. Once we get past midnight, a lot of this will just turn into any showers, areas of fog, drizzle, maybe a few downpours here and there. Now let's take a look at the temperatures. Yes, the temperatures, they are on the colder side here in Maine compared to what they are dealing down to the south. If we were doing this Facebook Live at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, those temperatures that you see in Vermont would have been much, much warmer. They had some mild temperatures with the sunshine out there during the daytime today, but of course they've cooled off because of the rain that has moved through, the thunderstorms. But where we haven't seen a thunderstorm is areas like Springfield. Look at this. Yeah. 81 degrees down towards Springfield right now. So it is quite mild in some areas, even pretty close to the ocean without the ocean influence over towards Boston, 71 degrees. And then you just see Maine, and it is just miserable here today. We are still dealing with temperatures running in the low to mid 50s with lots of clouds and just these areas of drizzle and fog and mist and whatever word you want to use. It's nasty. And that is the case. That has been the case throughout the daytime today. And it will be the case as we head through the nighttime tonight. Now, I'm putting showers in the forecast, especially after 8 p.m. And, there's areas of drizzle out there right now. That is going to be the case as we head through the nighttime tonight. But I think if anybody sees any type of rain that's not just mist or drizzle, for the most part, they're going to be showers. That does not mean that you can see over the next 5 hours. It does not mean that there's not going to be a thunderstorm in some spots, especially in parts of western Maine. But I think many areas, if they see anything, will be for, the far western part of the state for a thunderstorm, but most of us will just see some scattered showers over the next several hours. Now, let's talk a couple comments here. And we are looking Daryl, hello to you. Good evening. Any storms in Biddeford? No, not right now. And I really, again, don't anticipate Biddeford, especially close to the coastline, to see any, severe thunderstorms. I think the severe thunderstorm threat for us in Maine, period, is very low. The thunderstorm threat, not severe, but just the thunderstorm threat is also not super, super high as it is expected to dissipate. But if you are in Oxford County, if you are in areas far in the western part of the state, I certainly do think that we could be looking at some thunder and lightning in those areas. But the closer to the coastline you get, I do think there's a lesser chance. It would be more so maybe some downpours. Couldn't rule out a rumble of thunder in parts of York County. And actually, somebody's mentioning about the York County area in particular. York County, I would say, for the most part, will generally just be some showers, some downpours. Could see some rumbles of thunder in some spots, but that wouldn't be for really another at least hour or two before it makes it into the York County area. We'll go back to the radar in just a little bit. I do want to just pull up, and talk about tomorrow. Let's talk about, some good news to the forecast. I think the sunshine will be with us for the day on Sunday. We're looking at temperatures running in the 60s for the most part. I think some spots could even top that 70-degree mark, but the sun will be with us, especially during the morning hours. As we head into the afternoon, there will be more in the way of clouds, but I also anticipate the chance for some showers in some areas as well. So let's time all this out. Here we go. As we head through the next couple hours, here are those showers, here are those thunderstorms. But you notice they start to weaken. You notice by 7, 8 o'clock. And of course, this computer model is not perfect. No computer model is perfect. But it shows that a lot of the dark reds are kind of dissipating in the state of Maine with these cooler temperatures, the clouds, and that'll kind of be the case during the evening and nighttime tonight. And then for the daytime tomorrow, a little bit of sunshine. Yeah, I do think we are going to see some sun, especially as you head in the southern part of the state during the morning hours. And in particular, I do think we will be looking at at least partly cloudy skies. I do anticipate some clouds here and there, but then you notice some scattered showers will develop. Not everybody's going to see a shower during the daytime tomorrow, but I do think there will be some passing showers, and I do anticipate a couple of passing downpours in some spots, but we are going to see that generally during the afternoon and evening hours as compared to the morning. So get out there, enjoy any sunshine you get during the morning, especially for the daytime tomorrow, because overall this upcoming week is not looking pretty. We'll go to the 7-day forecast in a little bit, but Monday, much of the same, except it will be more cloudy and also cooler. We're still going to run the risk for some of these scattered showers during the day on Monday as well. And then I think for the middle of the week, we're mainly dry, but we will stay mainly cloudy. Again, stay with me. We're going to get back to the radar in a second. I do want to just talk about the forecast, and then we'll end on the radar. Now, let's get to the 7-day forecast. Again, I think tomorrow is probably the nicest day. You can make the case the nicest day of the next week, because while Tuesday, Wednesday look mostly dry, I do think that there's going to be a lot of clouds, very, very little sunshine, if any, and also much cooler temperatures. So I personally would rather have partly cloudy skies with a passing shower and temperatures near 70 degrees as compared to cloudy skies and dry conditions with temperatures in the low 50s. So I think tomorrow is probably going to be the nicest day of at least the next 5, 6, 7 days, as we are going to see some more sunshine, but milder temperatures. Again, just watch the chance for a scattered shower. Monday, chance for some more showers. Tuesday, Wednesday, again, cloudy skies for the most part, but I do think we are going to stay on the cooler side and stay mainly dry. Then our next weather maker, yes, moves in later Thursday into Friday. At this point, it looks like we are going to see a storm move in from our south and west, and that is going to eventually bring us some rain. It looks like later Thursday into the day on Friday at this point. Of course, it's only Saturday right now. This is still 5, 6 days away. So we are going to continue to update the that forecast over the next couple days. But of course, we are right now more so focused on what we got going off to our west. As I mentioned, we are going to get back to the radar. Let me just find it in my graphics. And here we go. Let's pull up this radar, and you can see, again, for anybody just joining me, we are dealing with these thunderstorms off to the west, and that is why I wanted to have this Facebook Live right now for you guys, just showing that, yes, we have these storms off to the west. A lot of them are anticipated to weaken as we head through the next couple hours, as we lose the sunlight, but also it moves into a more stable air mass, more, air mass that's featuring just cloudy skies with temperatures in the 50s as compared to what they had in New York and Vermont and even parts of New Hampshire today, where temperatures topped out in the 70s to near 80 with some sunshine. So areas down to the south, certainly much milder, but we are going to just stay on the cool side for this evening. Now, let me pull up some more comments. Connor, mountains. Well, let's zoom in on the mountains really quick. Let's talk about that. If you are up towards areas in northern Oxford County, parts of Rangeley, Jackman, you notice that we do have some storms off to the west, but I also want to show you that as it moves into the north, a lot of the lightning is kind of starting to dissipate. You see how much lightning there was at the very beginning? Let me actually pause this, and you can see the amount of lightning, 4 or 5 o'clock, over towards parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. I wouldn't even say New Hampshire, but at this point, Vermont, a lot of lightning, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now it's past to now, and you notice it is really starting to weaken. So this is more so turning into just a period of rain that's going to pass through, probably downpour for many areas like Rangeley, Jackman, northern Oxford County, even areas like Freiburg will probably see some downpours, some rumbles of thunder possible in Freiburg. But I think up to the north, we are just going to see some downpours in the mountains in particular. But a lot of the lightning, and this isn't a severe storm by any means, as you head up towards areas like Rangeley or Jackman. Could I rule out a rumble of thunder? Certainly not. But I do think for the most part, that storm up to the north is starting to weaken, and that is likely to happen to these storms down to the south as well. As you take a look at areas really right and along I-91, along the New Hampshire-Vermont border, we do have these still severe thunderstorms, and I can actually take the lightning off for a second to show you where those severe thunderstorms are in the orange boxes down towards southern Vermont, over towards parts of New Hampshire as well. We are still dealing with some of these severe thunderstorms. These are going to continue to weaken as we head through the next several hours. And I do think by the time it gets to areas like York County, like Cumberland County, especially once it gets that ocean influence with the cooler temperatures and just the drizzle and clouds, and we lose the daylight heating, a lot of these are going to start to weaken, and that is going to be the case as we head through the next couple hours. So can I rule out a rumble of thunder over the next couple hours in Freiburg? No. Can I rule out the chance for a thunderstorm in spots of York County? No, but I don't think we're going to deal with much of any severe thunderstorms. That's how it looks at this point. So that is some good news, of course. Let me just see if there's any more comments. Hello to you, Tatiana, one of my biggest fans. I appreciate you always liking and commenting on my posts here. It is 75 degrees in Hartford. Wow. I believe it though. It's 81 in Springfield, Mass. So definitely a much milder air mass down to the south. Any storms in Sanford? I do think there is the chance for a quick thunderstorm. It wouldn't be until at least another 2 hours or so as that storm, as the line moves through. But for the most part, if you do see any thunderstorm activity in Sanford or York County, generally just going to be, a couple rumbles of thunder, a couple of bolts of lightning. Not anything severe, maybe a few gusts of wind, but not anything too bad. Quick downpour. Now, when I say thunderstorms, we're talking like the, strong winds. We're talking the lightning, the thunder, and this and that. That's not to say as this line moves through that you couldn't see a quick downpour, but I just don't think we're going to see much in the way of any severe weather as we head through this evening. But I will be keeping an eye on it. I'll give you one last wide look at what we're looking at here and show you that we do have those severe thunderstorms in southern Vermont right now, and the lightning, there's still plenty of lightning associated with this line. I will keep an eye on this as we head through the next couple hours. I'll make another update if I have to, but otherwise, if I don't make another update, that's probably good news. It means that we're not looking at any more severe weather, but I will, if I have to, over the next couple hours to give you guys the update. And if we're dealing with any severe weather, I will, of course, be back on Facebook. Hope you guys can join us for the 10 and 11 o'clock tonight. Again, rumble of thunder possible, quick downpour, some showers, drizzle and fog for tonight. But enjoy every minute of sunshine tomorrow because it's not looking like the best of weeks ahead as we head through the next 7 days. All right. I hope you guys all have a good evening. If I didn't get to your comment, I apologize. Hopefully you can tune in at 10 and 11, and I will continue to keep you guys updated and talk about the sunshine that at least will be with us for parts of the day tomorrow. All right. Have a good evening and have a good rest of your weekend.